transcription of my grandfather's life story. I've only ever read snippets of it, so please bear with me. It's also been his 92nd birthday recently, so happy birthday, Iva. Bouda. And then once we arrived at the starch factory, we started to feel the bed bugs. In Rudolfsklad we had so many rats, the whole room full of rats during bright daylight. I caught the rats and set the traps, and in Bouda we had the bed bugs before we were taken to the tar factory. And so we came to Bouda, where we stayed for 2 weeks, and we heard that we had to pay 700 dinar per person, and someone would traffic us over the border to Hungary. But we did not have the money. And I went to go begging every day, jumped over the wall. Someone needed to help me to get over the wall, and I went to the city and from house to house begging. Hungary. We were there for 14 days when they said we had to look into moving on, or they will have to send us back, and the next day we moved on. I had been working as a goose and a pig keeper, and the uncle was at another farmer's and mother in a household, and together we got until Budapest and to the border of Austria. But we did not want to get out of the train so they could catch us, so we got out the station earlier and they were caught, and then they took us to the military barracks, and they took what they could find on us, and one of them took us during the night over the border to Austria. Over the border to Austria. The next day we came to Vienna and stood there at Westbahnhof. What to do now? We sat there and had brought from Hungary a fat piece of bacon which was unseen of there and then. And the people approached us. How much for the bacon? Well, 100 shillings, sold. And suddenly a bunch of people around us, there was nothing left, and wanted to buy all, and with that money we moved on. Beginnings. When we arrived, it was like a liberation. We were in a free country. People had nothing themselves, but saw that we had nothing, and since we had no place to stay, not been given a shelter at the refugee camp, we did not get any food stamps, only an additional work card. Those who were working got another card, so that once a week we got 5 decagrams of butter or 5 decagrams of meat more. But we didn't have that main card, and people saw that. And one brought us a pot of flour, and the other a bottle of vinegar, another oil and eggs, and so we were able to cook. One went to pick wood with us, and he brought it with a hand cart, and we built a stove out of tin, and since we did not have a mattress, we cut rods in the wetlands and put a blanket on, and that is where we slept. Later we had a bunk bed, the uncle and I slept on top and mother on the bottom. The room was half the size of this. Camp 56. She was born in 65, 1 year after we'd married. She was still in the barracks for 2 years. There, summers were so hot that the milk curdled overnight, so hot. So we had to see how we could get to a fridge. 5,000 shillings paid, much money, so we could keep the milk cool. And later we were able to get a bigger room, where the water in the room froze during winter, and in summer it was so hot we put our mattresses outside and slept outside. And after 55 they said we could apply for citizenship, and in the meanwhile mother got the German one, as she got the war widow pension since father had not returned. And he was then declared dead, and we applied for the Austrian, which we got in 55. And when she was born, it was the cutoff, and so she was born as Austrian, but for 10 years we were, so to speak, stateless refugees. Well, you know, we were amongst us, refugees, all of us, had the same fate. You know, our youth was a wonderful youth. We were poor, certainly, but the cohesion was like nothing you'd find today. However, I'd never learned the Austrian dialect, since we were always amongst refugees. I feel like an Austrian, sure, but the Danube Swabians always within me. And how does that make you feel? Naja, dass ich manchmal zu mir selbst auf Schwäbisch spreche. Thank you.